Hello, welcome back to my podcast. This is episode number 6 already. My name is Anne and I live in Worcestershire in England with Tom, my husband, and Bertie, the dog, who is behind me. How have you been? It's been, well, from when I'm recording, it's been less than a week for me to sit in front of the camera, just about. I think it was Friday of last week I recorded. But I've done the draw and I wanted to come along and have a chat to you and give you the results of the draw, which of course will be the end of the video. As always, my email address and contact details for Instagram and Ravelry are down below in the description bar, and I will also put my email address on the screen for anybody to contact me. I've had a couple of emails, it's great, and I've had messages on Ravelry and on Instagram, so it's lovely that people are getting in contact, and I'm still trying to keep up with the comments on YouTube, but I've just noticed another one that I hadn't replied just before I'm going to say came on air, but that makes me sound like a DJ. But yeah, just before I started recording, I just found another one I hadn't replied to. YouTube is not reliable with things like that, but still. Yes, what have we been doing? Well, what have I been doing? Well, not a lot, you know. Obviously we're still in lockdown. It's time to slurp. We're still in lockdown, obviously, but on Tuesday it was my mum's birthday, so I went up there with some library books that I collected. Library books off her this time. Had a little bit of shopping from our Morrison's delivery the day before, and that's it really. Yeah, I sent a card, and Tom went to Waitrose for me and got some flowers for her. It can be awkward actually, because Mother's Day, my mum's had her birthday on Mother's Day several times over the years, so you can't always get nice flowers for, I wouldn't say overinflated as much as they used to be, because flowers are in far more abundance now, aren't they? And the supermarkets, you know, have probably put a lot of flower shops out of business. But yeah, so some lovely flowers from my mum. So I drove them up to her and I was chatting to Mum. And my dad, who turned 80 in January, came back on his bike. Now, my dad is a keen cyclist, and he always has been. He used to cycle to and from work every day, and he now, let's just say, he pursues his hobby with relish. He goes out twice a week for a ride, and by a ride I mean in the summer it can be about 100 miles. It knackers him, you know, obviously he gets very tired. But on Wednesday he said he'd done, Tuesday, sorry, he said he'd done about 60 miles that day. But he's addicted to it, so, you know, what can you do? So I ended up chatting to him about it, and then I missed my WhatsApp regular chat on a Tuesday with my school friends. So I did that yesterday. Today is just whiz. I suppose it would help if I got up a bit earlier. Anyway, it's wet and windy. Well, it's supposed to be wetter than it is today. It's windy here today, and I've not seen any more birds go into the bird box since last week. I'm keeping my eye open. I know it's too early for them to nest, but I'm really keen to see a pair of blue tits in the box, because we don't usually get cats in the garden either. We do get a few magpies though, and they can take chicks, so we'll see what happens when the time comes. So I'm going to talk to you today. I'm going to show you 3 of my shawls, and then my finishes, and one of my mum's finishes. I don't know whether I showed you. Do you know, my memories are useless. And then we'll get on to what I've started and what I've acquired, and then the prize draw. So I'll keep my eye on the time in case, sorry, as I've explained before, with very focused, I go like that, I can see can read. No, I got no chance. Okay, I thought I'd start showing you my shawls. They're on Ravelry, but I don't always write great notes. But knitting shawls is a revelation to me because, as I said before, knitting garments is my main thing. I prefer to get my teeth into something bigger rather than something smaller, usually. And then shawls sit nicely between that. I mean, they can be massive, but they can be quite small as well. So I thought I'd go through my shawls and show you the ones that I've got to hand and work my way through them gradually. Now, the first shawl I'm going to show you is one of my favourites. Well, when you say favourites, you know, I mean, I don't have any that aren't really nice because I try and knit things I like, you know, but sometimes you'll knit something and you don't end up wearing it, and I think that applies to shawls as well. This is the Longbourne Avenues shawl, and it's a crescent, shallow crescent shawl, and it's got like a, it's got panels in it. It's got a on the back it's a twisted knit stitch, but that's the right side because of the lace, and then it's got the like applied border, and this is super because it's I don't know how much it weighs, but it took less than 2 skeins because the pinky colour there doesn't take up a full skein. And this is by Ruth of Knitterarium. Now Ruth no longer designs, and in fact she's taken all her patterns off Ravelry. I used to love watching Ruth, and I'm sure some of you did as well. Her mum died, and she just instigated a lot of life change into her life. Stopped designing, started making clothes, sewing clothes, and did that for a bit. And then I think she's got a job now, and she's taken up running. So, you know, it's she's no longer designing, which I think is a shame because she's done some really pretty patterns. And I'm still going to show you what I've got because I've knitted a few of Ruth's because I've done a couple of test knits for her. But I wanted to show you because, you know, I wear them. So this is Longbourn Avenues, but the colour of the yarn, of course it's going to blow out because I'm sat by the window, this is sand. They're both 75/25 standard wool sock. Well, I say standard, but they're both by very good, you know, sort of upper level dyers in terms of quality. Not that anybody's bad quality, but you know what I mean. It's not commercial. This is sand by the Wool Barn, and this delicate, it's like a peachy pink, is Stone Crop by Eden Cottage Yarns, and that's lovely. Really, really like that shawl. Now I've got a bag to put things in because of the chair. Right, if I chuck them on the floor, I mean, sorry, placed delicately on the floor, then I could roll over them. So I'm going to put each one into, and I'll get rolled up and put back into my drawer, my shawl drawer, in a minute. So sorry about the crinkling if you're on the headphones. And the second one I'm going to show you is Amulet by Helen Stewart, and this is one of the Shawl Society, one of the early Shawl Societies, I believe, patterns that she released. Now this is triangular. You can see vaguely. Short arms. That's better. Now this, what I like about this is I put beads in. Can you see those? Can you see the little glistening beads? They catch the light just about. Oh, I'll see. I'll take some photographs. I keep saying that and I forget to put them in. And this is lovely. I like this. It's not too big a triangle to. I think I'll just knock my pen on the floor. And you can wrap it around your neck twice. Now this is knit in just Wool Barn yarn, and the brown is chestnut, and this gorgeous greeny yellow, which is like really right up my street, is called Aniseed. I don't know if she does it anymore. And then I got I don't know where I got the sort of coppery coloured beads from, but it's a nice shawl. And it's got nice lace pattern at the bottom. I'm sure many of you have knitted shawls from the Shawl Society. The yarn is BFL and silk, a 70-30 mix. So it's yeah, it's really nice. It's getting a bit fluffy, but that just proves I've worn it, doesn't it? And then third, and one of my husband's favourites is this one. No, it's not too bad. This is a Kana shawl by, oh, I'll put it on the screen. And it's got like a pattern at the bottom, very long, shallow crescent, done in Aran weight. So, you know, this is about twice my height. It's certainly, you know, right for the Isadora Duncan moment, if you know what I mean by that. It's Isadora Duncan. I think she's a film star. She was a star in the 20s, and she used to. That was BT telling me they're going to cut me off. Obviously a scam. Edit that, maybe. Anyway, yes, I'm saying this is this is Aran weight. Yeah, Isadora Duncan, and she got killed from the scarf catching either the wheels or something in the car. Obviously it broke her neck. Killed by her fashion. Not nice. So this is quite a simple knit actually. The it's like a slip stitch, twisted stitch pattern at the bottom, I think. I can't remember. But this is lovely and squishy because it's done in Pendle Aran, which is 100% merino from Eden Cottage Yarns in their Sparrow colourway. So yeah, this is super squidgy. And I've since looked to see if she's got any dark colours. Every now and again I see if she's got enough quantity for me to knit Tom a scarf in this yarn because it's so nice. I've never blocked this properly. I washed it for the first time last summer. When you have a lot of shawls and you try and wear them all, I mean, some of mine only get washed once a year, unless I spill something down them, but we won't talk about that. In fact, I need a bib. I tend to wear my shawls outdoors more than indoors, so it's normally with a coat or whatever. But yeah, it's I've never blocked it because it's so big anyway. I've not felt the need to stretch it even further. And also I think you lose, you know, you're in danger of losing a bit of the bounce, because sometimes when you block, stop wrinkling now, crinkling. Sometimes when you block, it's to improve the drape and is to show the lace, you know. I think there's times when you don't really want to do that. You want to keep the squish. It can be, you know, a decision you have to make. Right, just shove this in the thing. Shove this in the Sainsbury's carrier bag. And I mean shove. And I'll roll all those up nicely. And I'll go back in my drawer in a bit. So, those are my shawls. Excuse me. The first three. So I keep finding things are falling off me. I'm losing things today. I am now going to go and pick something up. Do you think it's either going to be a really amateur episode or I'm going to get very good at editing? But because I keep talking, I haven't really got the space, you know, the room to edit, have I? So, yeah. So those are the first three of the shawls I wanted to show you. And the details are on Ravelry. And I'll put the links to the patterns where they're available and the yarn, if I can find. Or even just the brand of the yarn in the links below. Well, I've got a finish. Well, first of all, the one I should have showed you last time is the hat. I did what hubby suggested, and Tom said about putting a pom-pom on this because it's very, if you remember, it's very, the decreases have made it a bit bumpy at the top. And so I've put the bobble on it, but it moves a little bit too much. It's one of these, it's got a tiny, tiny elastic loop. So I've gone through it loads of times and tried to pull it through the hat as much as I can. So I'm going to be like Noddy and his bell if I wear it. But I can't put it on. can't reach to put it on. But it fits really, really well, and it's lovely and warm. This is yarn that Cass sent me. It's a Caledonian, from the Caledonian Yarn Company up in Fort William. And it's handspun, and it's absolutely squishy, and I'm definitely not blocking this because I want to keep that squish. Yeah, beautiful. And that's not a bad colour representation either. So perhaps my camera likes blues. So that's number 2. And when I say number 2, I'd finished it anyway, hadn't I? I just needed to decide what I was going to put on the top. I should have weighed it before I put the bobble on, because I like to keep a tally of the length of yarn that I've knitted in any given year. Having said that, I haven't tallied up last year's yet, but I've got most of the weights and the lengths somewhere. And then I think I forgot to show you this, and this is the one my mum knitted for me, and this is in the gorgeous Nectarine by Riverknits. I can't see the pattern. No, can't really see the pattern. It's got a slip stitch pattern every 7th or 8th stitch. So free pattern on Ravelry. Just about to see. Well, I know what I'm looking for, so I can see it. That's a better representation. This is lovely because it's done with 2 strands of double knitting, i.e., so it makes it a chunky. And it's lovely. And I've still got a fair bit left over from the 4 skeins I had, because Mum made one as well. She made hers. She's going to make it bigger in the end. She just made it the same. So we've both got one. Got matching hats. Better make sure we don't wear them at the same time, haven't we? So really pleased with that. An excuse to go out before it gets too warm to wear them would be nice. Although having said that, Tom took Bert for a walk earlier, but I was doing my prep for the podcast. I know it seems like I don't do any prep, but I do a bit. Okay, so there's the hats, and I'll leave links to the pattern below. I haven't got a link to the blue one because I made that up myself, which is not really a good idea. But and then we have, and I'm not going to show too much of these in case the person who's the recipient is going to watch it. But I'll take some photographs and they'll put them in. So I finished the boxy. Oh, it's blowing out something terrible. Anyway, just a sneak peek. I ran out of yarn, so I put some purple bits on the end, and I finished it with an I-cord cast off. So yeah, this is done in 2 lots of 4 places. The Worsted Boxy by Joji Locatelli, and I just had trouble with the neckline because it said cast off, you see, and I know if I just do a standard cast off, it's going to give you that it's going to be tight. So what I did, I did Jenny's surprisingly stretchy cast off in the end, and that's worked out very well because there's no hard edge to the cast off. But first of all, I decided to do an Icelandic cast off, and that was it. The rest of the neck was stretching out more than the cast off, and I thought, that's not very stretchy. It's pretty, but it's not very stretchy. I keep trying to use that, and it can work if you don't need a lot of flexibility. But because I'm making this for somebody else, I wanted it to, for not to think, oh, well, that's a bit tight. Anyway, so I've done the surprise in it, and it stretches really nicely. It's soft and it looks nice, but I can't show it here. I will take some photographs and I will show it. When the recipient has received it. I might get her to send me some pictures of her actually modelling it. That would be nice, wouldn't it? So I can put that in my Ravelry. It always feels like I'm talking too fast. So I don't bang there. And what else? And that's my finishes, which isn't bad really. We won't talk about the city limits because I haven't done anything with it. You know, the orange one that goes to brown, and then I've realised I haven't done the neckband. Now, some kind lady on the comments said, why didn't I think it was a lady, and if it was a man, I apologise. Why didn't I do like a mirror, like a mini version of the jumper itself, and start with the bottom colour and just do like a couple of rows each going up towards the neck, and if I can find any of the orange for the top, just, you know, like just cast off in that. And I thought that's quite a nice idea then, because that would follow the colours in the pattern. So I'm going to see if I can find enough orange that I've wrapped around my magic ball to do that. I found some orange, an orange mini, but it doesn't tone well with it, and so I can't use that instead. It's not the end of the world if I have to do it in a darker colour. Mum suggested a lighter colour, which is a good idea. So yeah, it will get done. It should be done by next time. Make a decision, Anne? Yes, please. But we have a new start. I rewarded myself after casting off a green item. We're casting on, ta-da, another green item. And you know what it is. It's that delicious wool called Swamp Monster. It's a bit lighter than it is on the screen. And really, it's getting darker as I get nearer to you. But that's like a shiny version of what it is. It's gorgeous. I'm looking pale as usual, despite having a ton of makeup on, trying to make me look a bit darker. I look like one of them women in boots. Well, maybe not. So this is what I've done so far. I've just done the rib for the back. Yes, it's going to be knit in pieces. Sorry, I was trying to stop the needles from clanging on the arm bowl. And that's the right side facing you. And I've done a sort of half twisted rib one by one, and I've just twisted the knit stitch on the right side. Don't know why, I just fancied it. I don't know, no idea if it makes any difference. I didn't want to do it on both sides in case it stopped it from being flexible, but this feels lovely and squishy. Don't you find though that rib only does that until you start wearing it, and then it sort of stretches itself out, and it never does that again? It loses its elasticity pretty easily. I did I did a German twisted cast on, which is one of my favourites now, even though I nearly always get to the other end, and this time it was 162 stitches, and I've got that much yarn left to do about 10 stitches, so I can start and do it all again. But that is very typical of me. So I finished the rib now. I'm going to do one row of purl, and then I'm going to do something called a lace rib pattern. Now, I'm using this book. This is Patons 3780, and it's a family knits book for double knitting. And basically, it's got all those shapes that you can see on the screen. So you've got jumper and cardigan, basically, with some different necks. Oh, there's a hat and a scarf, but and it's for all sizes. It only goes up to about a 54-inch chest, which I think these days they wouldn't necessarily get away with. You know, I think a lot of men are above that anyway. And it gives you some stitch patterns in there. And actually, so I'm going to choose right at the front. It's quite an interest. This is the book I use for my mother-in-law Kath's Christmas cardigan every year. I knitted the smallest version. But I don't think you can see that. I mean, these are all standard stitch patterns. So I'm going to do this one on your, well, this one here. Twisted rib. Lacy rib. Sorry. The lace rib stitch. I'm going to do that. And there's a picture of a little girl in a cardigan. And she's got that on there. So you can see it's sort of a mesh thing. I did think it's done on the right and the wrong side, but I'm not sure whether I want it all over, whether I just want it on the front. I'm not sure. I've got 5 skeins of the yarn, which should be enough. Let me just put that back. But I can't decide whether to do it all over. I don't like the idea of lacy sleeves on my fat arms. Let's be frank. Let's talk honestly now. Because even if they sort of fit you, although I'm only going to do short sleeves, aren't I? I could do them solid. It's nice, isn't it, that I come and talk to you and I've got no clue what I'm going to do in my knitting. And this is why I end up undoing it regularly. You know, I start knitting it and think, oh, I need that size. And I start knitting it, that's far too big. But I know this will fit me, so I'm quite happy with that. I won't be starting it again. I just need to decide before I do the next row, really, when I'm going to do the rib up the back, the lace rib, or do a panel of it. Because like I said to you before about the Ishnana, I've got all that lovely work on the back and it doesn't get seen. But not only that, whether it'll look nice as a total rib, as a total lace cardigan. And I'm trying to envisage it in my head. Anyway, I'll let you know what I do. And I'll certainly put something on Instagram about how it looks. What are you saying? You're saying, have I done a swatch? Sorry, I can't hear you. No, of course I haven't. And that's mainly because I know it fits me. What I have done, though, is because I wanted it to be lacy, and I don't want it to be a tight lace at all, I have used slightly bigger needles. So instead of using what we would call, in Britain anyway, what I've been brought up with, which is the old 8s and 10s, those of you who are older knitters out there, and you're nodding at me, yeah, my mum still works to that. I can't get my head around millimetres. Which are now sort of 3.25 for the old 10s and 4mm for the old 8s in Britain. And of course it's the opposite way around to the US sizing. Ours, the higher the number, the smaller the needle. Apparently it's something to do with wire gauge in engineering. So my dad and my husband understand roughly what I mean by the size of a size 10. Interesting, that, isn't it? So I've got up to 3.5 and a 4.5, and I'm liking the rib so far. I'm thinking if I'd done it on the 3.25, because it's nice plump DK, it might have been a bit too, you know, tight really. I don't like it because it's going to be a summer cardigan at the end of the day, and it can be a wool summer cardigan, so I want it sort of loose and a bit flowy. You understand what I mean? Of course you do. So yes, so that's my and I will put a link. I don't know whether when I looked at that Patons book a while ago, it was still available, and I've got the Aran version as well, and I find them invaluable because you can just get your stitch library out. And I've got a couple. I've got a Japanese one, and I've got a one that Tom bought me one birthday, and they've got all different stitch patterns in, and of course YouTube's full of stitch patterns if you want a variation as well that isn't in there. And you can just add your own, you know, you know what your stitch count is, what it's divisible by. And to be honest, if it doesn't fit exactly, I just put knit or purl stitches at the end, and I'm not worried about where I sew it up, it doesn't exactly fit the lace. I'm not going to be worried about something like that. Okay. Let's talk about what I might have acquired. Because obviously it's a no buy yarn year, and obviously I've been buying yarn, not at the same rate. But I did buy this, you know, just 4 little. They don't really count because they're so small. 1, 2, 3, 5. Sorry, 5 little bittle itty. Let's put them back here because they're blowing out. Of course, see that orange on the end there? You can just about see that. These are little minis, and they are inspired by Frida Kahlo, and they're from a new to me dyer, on Etsy called Fearless Yarns. She's got quite a few sales on there, but I've never seen it and she's never come up in my searches. So I favourited these because I was umming and ahhing. Because it's a little box, little mini box. I thought I can get away with that in my conscience, my no-buy yarn. And I really like the fact that they were very, very prettily coloured. I wouldn't buy anything like this really for me to wear. They're a bit bright for me and they're a bit dual coloured for me. But certainly for putting in blankets or blankets, yeah, then that's fine, you know, or to maybe give one or two away as part of a giveaway. So I favourited it on Etsy and she sent me a message. I got back a 10% discount for favouriting it. So I bought them. I thought, well, you know, don't look a gift horse in the mouth, Anne. And they're meant to be yours. And so they came home to my house from Scotland. Yeah, it took a couple of days to get here. Very fast delivery. And I will put the link down below. And they're called the Wee Box of Frida 10 gram minis. Perfect. Perfect little treat when you can't have cake. Or you've run out of butter so you can't make any cake. Right, Mum says I've got to stop mumbling because she can't hear me when I do a little aside. So I've got to try and project a little bit more for her. So yes. And secondly, we talk about incoming. Sal, I'm talking about you. I've had a lovely little card from Sal. Welsh Sal. Sal lives in South Wales. And we're going to have a chat soon, over the weekend. Sal said to me, can I send you some stuff for the podcast? Can I send you some bags that I don't use anymore? You know, they're in perfect condition. And can I send you some yarn? And I said, well, yes, of course you can. I don't mind, you know. And she said, basically, keep what you want, give away what you want. So I'm not going to show it on here because really we haven't got enough time before it gets dark because Sal sent me so much. Absolutely so generous. Thank you very much, Sal. You know, I'm, you know, overwhelmed. I've written back to her on email and said thank you very much. It's arrived safely. But it was humongous and there's some really, really pretty stuff in there. And it will find its way to homes, hopefully across the world, over the next few months with giveaways, things that we do here on the channel. So yes, very, very big thank you to Sal. And that leads us back up to the drawer. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to put the drawer, as you know, I was going to draw on Monday, but I wasn't very exact about what time. You know, I think when I do it next time, I need to put a date and a time very clearly in the instructions to say when I'm going to draw. And then if people are adding comments, which is what's happened this time, after the day that I said I'm going to draw it, then, you know, obviously they won't qualify because I would have done the draw. And I don't want people to be disappointed. So what I did, I've done the draw this morning. And I filmed it on my laptop. It's allowing me to do it by screenshot. And I will put the video in now. And you will see who the winner is. See you in a minute. So, Kellyanne, congratulations on winning the first ever draw in the No Excuses podcast. Yay! If I knew how to make things bounce and jump off the screen, I'd do that, but anyway, congratulations, Kellyanne. I will be sending your parcel to you as soon as you let me know your address, please. Now you can email me, you can do it via Instagram, or Ravelry, entirely up to you. Yeah, please get in touch. I know you watch the podcast. Kellyanne has a very nice podcast. She's based very near to my brother on the south coast of the UK, and yeah, she does a lot of crocheting. She does a lot, well, crafting, and she gets through a load of stuff. So if you haven't seen Kellyanne, I would say go and watch her, because it's weird, isn't it? You know, you get comment picker and you just don't know who's going to turn up. So yeah, congratulations, and we will be having another draw, I think probably between Easter and Whitsun, because I want to do sort of get ready for a summer long. I was thinking of doing a love note cowl, because several people have commented after I said about my love note that it's something that's in their queue and they want to make. But it's probably the wrong time of year, and I'm thinking whether if we do it, should we do it in autumn, because certainly I probably won't be making mine now, because I was going to use that Swamp Monster for the love note, until I got it out and thought that's a bit too tonal, I think. So I'm thinking let's do the love note in the autumn if people are still interested. So we'll decide there and then, rather than do anything now. But yeah, ideas for a cowl. I've got some ideas for cowls coming up, and then we'll also do other prize draws where you just need to tell me things or put a secret word in, because obviously not everybody wants to knit something to do with the cowl. Depends how general they are, really, and I'll try and make it as general as possible, so that as many people as possible can join in. I nearly ran out of words then, that would be a first. Okay, well, I think it's going to be quite a short one. It's only going to be about 30 minutes. Next time I want to talk about construction, and I'm going to dig out some of my top down and my pieced items, and I want to talk about how things have changed for me in how I knit my jumpers, if indeed they have changed. She says, having just cast on a seamed, pieced item. I bought a couple of patterns as well, actually, this month. I should have said in the acquisitions. I've just bought the Kaga cardigan, or Kaga cardigan, by I didn't write this down. I wasn't going to chat about it, but absolutely gorgeous pattern, boxy and everything. Nice, looks like it's got rib sleeves, and it's a very boxy front and back, knit from the top down. But it's actually reversible because the pattern looks gorgeous on the front and the back. In fact, I think I prefer the reverse that they were showing on Instagram this morning. And it's got a big discount. It's either 20 or 25% off until, I think it's the 14th of March. So I'll put the link to the pattern. It's one of these, what I would call an edge to edge. It's got no buttons band. It just sits. And it goes up to, I think the biggest circumference is something like 83 inches, because it's meant to be loose and baggy, but obviously you knit the size you want to. But I quite fancy that for the yak yarn that I had for my birthday, because I probably got enough skeins of that to do a decent sized cardigan. So I might have made a decision. So I might need to write something in my new notebook that I talked about last time, where I said I was going to try and match patterns to yarns and yarns to patterns, and of course I haven't done it because I've been trying to get this boxy done. Now the boxy's done, I can calm down, I can get my cross stitch done, because that was for a birthday present, so I was in a hurry to do it. I can calm down, I can get the cross stitch started, and that's the key word there, started, and I can do some journaling, and I'm quite looking forward to that. Getting me washi tape out and my stamps and my stickers, and also I want to catch up with my knitting bible, because it's been ages since I put my samples in there. and what I've knitted and how much it weighed, etc, etc. And I like to keep a tag of that, and I'll show you my knitting Bible. Do you know, I keep thinking that I've shown you already all these things. I think I must dream it. Anyway, when you start waffling, it's time to go, isn't it? Congratulations again to Kellyanne. Thank you for joining me today. It's a little bit shorter. Sorry, Ginny. But we will chat more next time about construction, because, you know, not everybody's going to agree with me, and that's always good for a chat, isn't it? Right, ladies and gentlemen, I'll see you soon. Have a really good weekend. Let's hope Wales beat Italy in the rugby. I haven't bet on them. I'm really annoyed because, you know, they're doing well so far. And I nearly always have a bet on them. Typical, eh? Well, we did win £30 on the lottery last night. Good. Oh, no, I wanted to ask you another question. Quick. Sylvia, what are you thinking of the Solitaire yarn? I'm really, really, really tempted to buy some Solitaire. It's a new alpaca yarn by Serdar. So it's commercial. It says you can wash it in the machine, and it's just got 20% alpaca in it, and it's Aran weight, and it's got some gorgeous colours. I'll put a link to the Wool Warehouse supply. Looks like they've already run out of certain colours, but I'm really keen to know. So Sylvia, if you're watching, let me know what the Solitaire's like, because if you think it's really nice, yeah, I know, no yarn buying. I might buy some for Easter instead of having an egg. I get away with that. Big fibby lights on the screen. All right, you take care. Have a good weekend, and I'll see you next week. Ta-da.